5 years ago, I, Nathan Brooks, bought a slice of freedom on the edge of Crestview Estates, a so-called luxury community ruled by an HOA with a reputation for petty tyranny. My property was deliberately outside their jurisdiction, a fact confirmed by my deed, plot map, and a developer's letter. I built a modest, modern home with a sleek backyard pull-me private oasis, complete with my dog, a cold drink, and a floating speaker. No HOA fees, no clipboard-wielding busybodies, no fines for planting the wrong flower. I worked remotely, soaking in the peace of my sanctuary daily, far from the chaos of Crestview's overcrowded community pool, a supposed crown jewel I'd never set foot in. That pool, a few blocks away, was a summer circus of screaming kids and frazzled parents fighting over lounge chairs. I'd pass it on dog walks, shaking my head at the madness. What I didn't know then was that the land it sat on wasn't even HOA, it was leased from the same developer who sold me my lot, a detail buried in public records that would soon ignite a war. Trouble arrived with Vanessa Reed, the HOA's new president, a woman with a thirst for control and a yappy dog to match. Her newsletters, stuffed in a box by the community pool, brimmed with bolded rules and veiled threats about aesthetic standards. She'd stock yards, snapping photos like a self-appointed sheriff. I ignored her reign of terror, her world of mailbox height disputes, and chipped paint wasn't mine. But Vanessa didn't like being ignored. One afternoon, I caught her peering through my fence, photographing my pool. "Can I help you?" I asked, voice calm but firm. "Just looking," she snapped, scurrying off. I should have demanded she delete those photos, but I let it slide, unaware I'd just become her obsession. Days later, a letter arrived on embossed HOA stationery, as if penned by royalty. It declared my unauthorized aquatic structure a violation of community standards, demanding I drain and decommission my pool immediately. Photos of my private backyard were attached, along with threats of daily fines and eviction for noncompliance. I laughed at first. Me property wasn't under their control. My legal documents were airtight. But the word eviction turned my amusement to anger. This wasn't a mistake. It was an audacious power grab. I called the HOA office, hoping to clear up the misunderstanding, but was told I could only contest at their monthly meeting. Fine. I marked my calendar, gathered my paperwork, and prepared for battle. The meeting room reeked of stale coffee, filled with weary residents and elderly folks clutching mugs. Vanessa sat at the head table, her blazer screaming authority. During public comment, I laid out my case, my deed, county plat, title company letter, and the developer's exclusion of my lot from the HOA. "My pool's on my land, outside your rules," I said, keeping my tone even. Vanessa's eyes narrowed. "Your pool's visible from community homes, disrupting our uniform aesthetic. You'll comply or face consequences." I leaned forward. "I'm not draining my pool. I've broken no laws. If I get one fine, my next stop's a lawyer." Her smile was venomous. "Don't make us set an example, Nathan." The room went quiet. She didn't care about facts. She wanted control, fearing my freedom might inspire others. I expected her to back off after seeing my evidence. Instead, she doubled down. Weekly violation notices flooded my mailbox, each more aggressive, one stamped "Final Notice" in red, another claiming $500 daily fines. Anonymous calls followed, concerned citizens urging me to ditch my pool or accusing me of ruining the neighborhood. Then Vanessa crossed a line. She contacted my mortgage lender, alleging code violations and a potential lien. My lender, baffled, cleared it up after I sent my documents. But the audacity stunned me. Being right wasn't enough. Vanessa wouldn't stop unless I made her. I needed something bigger than a courtroom win. Recalling a rumor about the community pool's leased land, I dug into county records. The pool sat on property owned by the developer, not the HOA, with a lease expiring in a year. I called the developer, a semi-retired man who'd sold me my lot. Over lunch, I laid out Vanessa's harassment. He confirmed the lease's end date and his frustration with the HOA's lowball renewal offers. "Would you sell the land outright?" I asked. His eyes lit up. "For a good offer, absolutely." The gears turned. While Vanessa bombarded me with fines, I negotiated to buy the ground beneath her precious pool. I kept silent, ignoring her letters and meetings, letting her think she was winning. Her notices grew frantic. Her dog walks past my house, a daily photo op of my pool, yard, even my trash bins. I filed her letters, emails, and voicemails, color-coding the evidence she hand-delivered. The developer, tired of HOA drama, agreed to sell without giving them a chance to bid. My lawyer, chuckling at the plan, ensured a clean title transfer. We set a closing date just after the lease's expiration, preparing a termination notice to deliver the knockout. Vanessa's aggression only grew as I stayed calm, waving cheerfully when she passed. I complimented her emails, dedication, watching her fume. She didn't know her pool parties were on borrowed time, their access fees funding a soon-to-be private asset. Flyers touted a big pool bash scheduled after I'd owned the land. The lease expired on a quiet Tuesday. By noon, I'd closed on the property, deed recorded. The HOA's legal claim to the pool vanished. My lawyer sent a notice, lease not renewed, access revoked. My phone exploded with calls and emails from the HOA's legal committee, claiming I'd been scammed, insisting they owned the land. I let them go to voicemail, savoring their panic. That day, I hired a crew to erect a 6-foot privacy fence around the pool, complete with no trespassing signs and a keypad-locked gate. Vanessa's keys were useless now. She showed up that evening, pounding on the gate, shrieking for the property manager. I strolled out. "That's me, Vanessa. You're disrupting the harmony." Her face twisted. "This is HOA land. The community needs this pool." I smirked. "It's mine now. Check the county records or read your lease's fine print." She threatened to sue. "Go ahead," I said. "My lawyer's ready." Word spread fast. The next HOA meeting was chaos. 70 residents crammed into the community center, waving canceled pool bills, demanding refunds. Vanessa claimed it was a dispute, but the truth was out. They'd lost the land through their own incompetence. She blamed me, saying my refusal to drain my pool cost them the lease, even suggesting I'd used the land for illegal purposes. Residents shouted her down, one reading the lease aloud, proving she'd failed to renew it 6 months earlier. 3 board members resigned on the spot. A no-confidence vote ousted Vanessa within a month. The gutted board offered partial refunds, but lawsuits loomed. Residents were livid. The pool was why their dues were sky-high. I transformed the pool into a private paradise, new tiles, lounges, a retractable awning, and lush landscaping. Friends loved it, floating with drinks at my reopening party. Some residents asked to pay for access, but I declined, not out of spite, but to avoid the legal hassle of a business. 6 months later, Vanessa fled Crestview, unable to face the backlash. The HOA, restructured with better members, sent a letter begging to lease the land. I tore it up. I'd bought my home outside their reach for a reason. They'd harassed me, ignored my rights, and lost their prized pool because of it. Now, I'm left with 2 pools. My backyard one's enough. Maintaining the community pool's a flex I don't need. Draining it feels like a final jab at the HOA, but without Vanessa to see it, the thrill's gone. I feel for the residents, especially kids who lost their summer spot. Many moved here for that pool, and they're victims of the HOA's mismanagement. If Vanessa had renewed the lease, I'd have had no opening. But she picked a fight, and I finished it. Was I too ruthless, punishing a community for one woman's vendetta? Or was I justified, striking back against a bully who ignored my rights? My folders of evidence, letters, photos, voicemails prove they started it. Yet, as I float in my pool, I wonder if I went too far, or if Crestview's better off without Vanessa's reign.